Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Young and the Restless spoilers. The only thing that can save Adam and Sally now, an unexpected pregnancy helps them reunite. Young and the Restless, Y and R. Spoilers reveal that things are essentially over between Adam Newman, Mark Grossman, and Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope. After all, not only did Adam cheat on Sally with his ex, Chelsea Lawson, Melissa Claire Egan, but he also lied about it and tried to gaslight the redhead. Teamily fans are devastated by the latest developments. Is there anything that can bring this super couple back together? I and R spoilers remind fans that the couple just acknowledged the 1-year anniversary of their baby girl's passing. Both Adam and Sally had a very hard time moving forward after their daughter's stillbirth, and Spectra harbored both guilt and resentment for a long while, as Adam chose to save her over their little girl's life. It was an impossible choice or position for anyone to be presented with, but Adam did what he thought was best at the time because he loved Sally. Still, they eventually bonded over their grief and reunited. It'll be difficult for Adam to fluff off his infidelity and lies, even though it seems like the Chatham one-nighter was really a storyline to stir up drama, and a reunion is not in the cards. Considering the pressure both Chelsea and Adam were under when they did what they did, could time heal all wounds between ally? Especially if the couple got some unexpected news. What if Sally found out she was pregnant with Adam's child again? Would her first instinct be to keep it a secret from him, or would she come forward? In light of his betrayal, she may try to keep it under wraps for the time being, but the truth would eventually surface. Could a baby be the very glue that holds ally together for the interim, as they navigate through their latest bump in the road? Healing and forgiveness could unravel as the couple gears up for another child, and all the hope, joy, and fear that come with it. In the quiet, moody ambience of Adam Newman's penthouse, a storm brewed outside, mirroring the tumultuous emotions that had become his constant companions. Adam stared out at the rain-soaked streets of Genoa City, his mind racing with thoughts of Sally Spectra. Their love affair had been nothing short of a roller coaster, full of passion, betrayal, and heartbreak. They had tried to move on, each with different partners and different lives, but the connection they shared was undeniable, an invisible thread pulling them back to each other, no matter how hard they tried to break free. Sally had always been a force of nature, vibrant and unyielding, and it was those very qualities that had drawn Adam to her in the first place. Yet their relationship had been a double-edged sword, cutting deep into the darkest corners of their souls. When Adam had chosen to end things, it had been out of a misguided sense of protecting her from the shadows that constantly loomed over him. He thought it was the right thing to do, that Sally deserved someone better, someone less damaged. But in doing so, he had torn his own heart to pieces, leaving a void that no one else could fill. Meanwhile, Sally was struggling to keep her life together. Her career was soaring, and on the surface she seemed to have it all: beauty, success, and a string of admirers. But underneath that confident exterior, she was a mess. Every time she saw Adam, every time their eyes met across a room, the ache in her chest would return. The what-ifs haunted her, making it impossible to fully move on. It was during one of these restless nights that Sally found herself in a situation she never imagined. The symptoms had been subtle at first: fatigue, a queasy stomach, a sudden aversion to her favorite foods. She had chalked it up to stress, to the long hours she had been putting in at work. But when the signs became impossible to ignore, Sally took a pregnancy test, and the positive result left her in shock. Sally sat on the edge of her bed, the test in her trembling hand, and a wave of emotions crashed over her. She was going to have a baby. But this wasn't just any baby, this was Adam's baby. The realization hit her like a ton of bricks. How could she tell him? What would this mean for them? They had gone their separate ways, but this child would bind them together forever. It wasn't just about their complicated relationship anymore, it was about the life growing inside her. The next few days were a blur. Sally struggled with what to do next. She knew she had to tell Adam, but the thought of facing him again, of reopening old wounds, was terrifying. And yet she couldn't keep this from him. He had a right to know, and no matter how much she tried to convince herself that she could handle this on her own, deep down, she knew that wasn't true. When Sally finally worked up the courage to visit Adam, she was a bundle of nerves. She had rehearsed what she was going to say 100 times, but as she stood outside his door, her heart pounded in her chest, and all those carefully planned words seemed to vanish. Adam opened the door, surprised to see her there. He could tell something was wrong the moment he saw her face. There was a vulnerability in her eyes that he hadn't seen in a long time, and it stirred something deep within him. "Sally, what's going on?" Adam asked, his voice laced with concern. Sally took a deep breath, trying to steady herself. "Adam, I need to talk to you about something important. Can I come in?" He stepped aside, allowing her to enter. The familiar surroundings of his penthouse felt oddly comforting, and yet the weight of what she was about to reveal made it hard for her to breathe. They sat down on the couch, and for a moment there was only silence between them. Sally looked down at her hands, unable to meet his gaze. "Adam, I don't know how to say this, so I'm just going to come out with it. I'm pregnant." The words hung in the air, heavy and filled with so much meaning. Adam felt like the ground had just shifted beneath him. He hadn't been expecting this. Of all the things that could have happened, this was the last thing on his mind. But as the shock began to wear off, a myriad of emotions surged through him: fear, confusion, and yes, even a flicker of hope. "Are you sure?" Adam asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Sally nodded, finally meeting his eyes. "Yes, I'm sure. I took multiple tests, and I've seen a doctor. Adam, this is your child." Adam leaned back, running a hand through his hair as he tried to process the news. A child. He was going to be a father again, but this wasn't like before. This was with Sally, the woman he had loved so deeply and hurt so profoundly. The implications were overwhelming. For a long time, neither of them spoke. Sally watched him, waiting for a reaction, any reaction that would give her a clue as to what he was thinking. Finally, Adam broke the silence. "Sally, I don't know what to say. This changes everything." Sally nodded, her eyes filling with tears. "I know. I'm scared, Adam. I'm scared of what this means for us, for our future. But I also know that we can't pretend this isn't happening. We have to figure this out together." Adam reached out, taking her hand in his. The gesture was simple, but it spoke volumes. "You're right, we need to figure this out, but more than that, we need to be honest with each other. I know I messed things up between us, and I don't expect you to forgive me overnight. But I want to be a part of this, Sally. I want to be there for you and for our child." Sally squeezed his hand, the tears she had been holding back finally spilling over. "I don't know how we're going to do this, Adam, but I want you to be a part of it too. I can't do this alone." As they sat there, holding hands and facing an uncertain future, something shifted between them. The love they had once shared, the connection that had always been there, began to resurface. It wasn't going to be easy. Nothing ever was with them. But for the first time in a long time, they felt like maybe, just maybe, they could make it work. The unexpected pregnancy had thrown them together again, forcing them to confront the feelings they had tried so hard to bury. And while the road ahead was sure to be full of challenges, there was also a sense of hope. A belief that this new chapter in their lives could be the one that finally brought them the happiness they had been searching for. In the end, it wasn't the past or their mistakes that defined them. It was the future they were about to create together, their future and the future of their child. And in that future, there was a chance for redemption, for healing, and for a love that could withstand anything life threw their way.